really does.
Just like one of them,
Creek right now.
Sir?
Man doesn't want anybody near the creek right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to move one side or the other. How you doing, Lieutenant?
Man.
Hey, these boots suck, John.
This is good right here. You come right here, Booker. And then you can go right down here by the bank. Good last time, yeah.
What's pH?
Huh?
What's pH?
He's pulling a sample.
Wet?
I mean, and he just
Now, hey.
Like, dude, this is so large. I mean, you know who's going to be walking a creek?
There's about 4 other guys here below me. I know it ain't gonna be me. Well, I'll put on our,
Hey, are we through taking samples? So I get rid of these?
yeah. Is it in your file or not?
Yeah, it's still in here. You want it?
Yeah. In case we need to keep it soft.
Jeez.
Well,
it's
if you're
just
sick-
water,
yeah.
because most of it is water now,
Mhm.
because it's all soluble. The only thing I can do is actually get with the Montgomery County Health Department and see if they'll come and take a look at all this, because apparently there's some health issues because a dog died or something
Yeah,
like
dog,
that.
and he said dog died and 2 horses, I guess, were sick or something
Sick,
back
yeah,
upstream.
because they drink out that stream, you know. But you know, nobody else is complaining about their horses or dogs. It's just that one person.
Yeah.
It ain't 2 people. It's 1 person.
Mhm.
So that's the best I can do, and just go back. I'm gonna go back to the office and look at the permits and all that for Huntsman and Exxon and all that, and see what exactly they're producing out here. And if they're producing any of the materials that we found, then there'll be further investigation.
Right. Well, I know right there at Huntsman, right there in what is it, Jefferson Chemical?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right there. That it's just Crystal Creek is nothing right there. I mean, it's just
Region 12, Houston, emergency response, actually state on scene coordinator.
State on scene coordinator.
Yes, SOSC. Whenever something happens and the state pops up, we become the state on scene coordinator.
Okay, so you might have to go just about anywhere, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
What's going on?
Well, I was called, about 10:30.
Okay.
As to some green substance in the creek, in Crystal Creek. And I responded by coming out here
And what time did you get here?
about 12:28, 12:40.
So you had to come from that farm.
I had to come from almost Clear Lake.
gosh.
That was fun on a pretty day like
Yeah,
this with all the
wasn't it?
people
Wasn't
out,
it?
huh?
Yeah, there was traffic, very bad.
Okay, and when you got here, what did you find?
Well, I came out here, and the first thing I done was get with the Chief Cody, and they had already had an assessment done.
Do you know who had already done the assessment?
Chief Cody.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cody and Woodlands both were down.
Yeah, Woodlands and Granger Fire Department, and they set up some booms downstream.
And that blocks it from going any further.
Well, it blocks it if it's a material that floats, but this material is water soluble, so the booms were not doing any good.
So are they gonna look dumb if I put it in there? They put booms.
They
Is
had
that gonna make them look bad?
no. That's the first thing they need to do.
Oh, so that's standard protocol.
Yeah, is put booms and see if the booms will catch it.
Where they put the booms down, the Exxon catch-all down
Yeah,
there?
way down there.
Yeah, there's an
something
Exxon.
like, 5 miles.
Yeah, there's an
down,
Exxon
so,
catch-all just 4242 there.
Okay, so was there ever a determination as to where this entered the water?
Well, we kind of thinking that it entered it down here at the end of the road down here. There's a little slough down there and a driveway that goes down that way. And it's just a possibility that it probably entered there. But that's like 10%, you know.
So if it's this dissolved, there's no easy way to.
There's
figure
no
out.
easy way to figure out point of origin.
How long is this? This may be another thing that's impossible to determine, but can you determine just by the amount and how far it spread as to how long ago it went in?
Well, with being that when they called me, it was already 5 miles downstream. This thing could have been put upstream last night. Further upstream, way upstream.
Like in the wee hours or earlier than
Yeah,
that?
possibly in the wee hours. I don't think anybody would want to do that during the daylight hours.
Well, there's some pretty remote places along this water.
Yeah, well, yeah, it could have been. It could have been that possibility too. But it ended up being a large slug of this material.
What does that look like? Some kind of a dye or what?
It looks like a dye. It looks like
So
the
some
dye
kids
from
could have
the
done
porta
it?
potties.
From the porta potties?
Yes.
Oh God.
But
I'd
there
rather
were,
think
but
it
there,
was-
Nothing floating with it?
yeah, but there was nothing else, nothing floating with it or anything like that.
So it looked like that, but there was no evidence that it was. I'd rather not use that.
Right, and the thing is that Huntsman, they took a water sample, and they found some constituents, thiamine, some alcohol. I mean, it's all diluted. I mean,
So what does that mean?
that means that it's some sort of product. You know, that it's mostly water though. I mean, you could go in your tap water and you can find iron and things like that. You know.
But they were calling this, what, 50 parts per million, which is what? Not much at all? Or?
That's hardly none
And
at
it
all.
turned it that color?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like like you take a droplet of dye and put it in a bucket of water. The dye tends to turn the whole bucket of water blue. I mean, it don't take much. Does not take much at all.
Sure caused some excitement around here.
Sure, yeah.
So is it possible that it was kids doing a prank, or?
I don't think
Maybe it was
that
just
amount. It had to
illegal.
be at least we're figuring it had to be at least 7,000 gallons of something from a tanker truck.
At least how much? 7,000?
Yeah, if that.
That's a lot of material.
Is there going to be any determination as to what it was? Is there any more testing that's going to be done?
Well, actually, no, because all the testing has already been done. I'm just waiting on the results back. The Woodlands Hazmat, I believe, they took a sample. Huntsman took a sample, ran it through a gas chromatographer. I mean,
So for you, is this about to be closed?
no, this will not be closed for me. I still have to do the paperwork investigation as to what products Huntsman has, what products ExxonMobil has.
Now why them? Are they along this water?
Yes, they are.
Huntsman, ExxonMobil, and who else?
Several chemical companies.
Yeah, there's several, but you know, I'd have to go back to the office and see what we have. You know, who their permits, who their process descriptions. See if any of
pull out all their information.
I have to.
Companies along.
Yeah, I have to. If any of the material matches, then there'll be questions. You know.
So it's fair to say that all the companies that are along the water, you're going to.
Well, they're all very cooperative because Huntsman actually went ahead and took some samples, and most of them already said it wasn't theirs. You know, and 9 times out of 10 probably isn't, because none of them produces them dyes, as far as I know, from memory. But they always pretty responsible. They cooperate with the state, and you know, they help us out.
Have you had to come to this body of water before?
Oh shoot, I've been with emergency response for 4 or 5 years. No, I hadn't had to come here. This the first.
Not Crystal Creek today, is it?
No, I've been down on Sawdust
Like
Road.
Emerald Creek.
I've been down on Sawdust Road, but that's about it.
All right. I
Yeah.
think that's all I need. Thank you so much for your time, Neil.
Now that's it.
Okay, first of all, your name?
Walter Rodriguez.
Walter, tell me, what'd you find out here today?
Well, actually, we found a green substance in the creek. It had extended almost 4 to 5 miles. Upon analysis of it through the hazmat and through Huntsman, who took a sample, we determined it was non-hazardous at this time. However, we don't know where the source is at. So the source could be further upstream, but being that upstream is now clear and the substance is moving down further downstream, it'll eventually dilute on out.
Okay, so it doesn't seem, it's not really hazardous that you know of, it's more of a dye type thing?
Yes, sir, it's more like a dye.
Something like the porta-cans or?
Yeah, well, it looks that color. Just assuming it looks that color, once it mixes in with the water, it turns it from blue to like a greenish.
What about the amount of spill? Any idea how much you've been?
Well, we would say that the high end, talking with the Houston criminal, the high end would be like 7,000 gallons, if any. But I'm kind of thinking the width of the creek and all that is probably more than 3,000, but it had to be a truckload.
Nothing, just a 55-gallon drum.
Right, it wasn't no 55-gallon drum. It had to be more than that.
What happens from this point on? I mean, they had the road closed for several hours this morning while this was going on.
Well, right now the only thing that the state can do is go back and look at the companies that are along Crystal Creek or adjacent to Crystal Creek, and see if any of the constituents that they make come up and can be compared to the analysis that was made of the water earlier.
Okay. And nothing. Okay, so basically now you're just basically more investigation stages of this.
Yes, I think the best thing to do is for the Montgomery County LEPC, Local Emergency Management Planning Committee, to kind of get involved because most of the companies have to send in a list to them anyway. And also the Montgomery Health Department, they would probably need to get involved a little bit and do their portion of their investigation. And maybe between all the agencies, eventually we'll have an answer.
And what's your name one more time?
My name is Walter Rodriguez with the TCEQ.
Okay.
Would you rather that not be abbreviated?
Yeah, I'm gonna say what it is. Just you can say it the way you want. I'll clarify. You know, right anytime.
Okay, I'm gonna have you.
You shoot right over your shoulder.
What's that?
Well, yeah, he's cropped me out, right?
Okay.
I'm not in your way, am I, Paul?
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna have you step up a little. Okay. I'm gonna just have you begin by saying your name.
Cody Quinn.
Okay. Q-U-I-N-N.
Yes.
And C-O.
C-O-D-Y.
D-Y. Okay. Your title?
Fire chief.
Can you tell us what happened here today?
At 10:43, we were dispatched out to a hazmat scene at 3083 in Waukegan. When we got there, we discovered that the entire creek was a bluish green color. At that time, we contacted Conroe Rescue 1, and once they got there, they did an evaluation. We contacted the Woodlands hazmat team, and they came out and we started doing some testing.
What did it look like? Can you just give me a description of what the water looked like?
A turquoise, bluish green color.
So you tested the water, and or you're having the water tested, and preliminary tests show what at this point? What was in it?
Right now, some of the things that showing characteristics of in the water is Windex, toilet bowl cleaner, and some other things like that. We sent it to Huntsman Chemicals lab to be tested, and the only thing they could find in it, it had 50 parts per million of an unknown substance.
There are some indications you were saying earlier that you think that it might have been an illegal dumping situation. Can you tell us what's making you come to that conclusion?
Well, at the point in the creek where the water is actually changing colors, there is just several sacks of garbage, and you can tell where people have been dumping. And that's where it's actually, there's a deep hole right there, and the water's whirlpooling. And when it comes out, it changes that turquoise color and flows downstream.
Okay, wow. Now, so when you're talking about the amount that was dumped here, Is that, would you say that must have come from, say, a tractor trailer truck?
Several years of just people throwing their garbage out.
Okay.
I don't think it was all at one time. I think it was just several years, and the amount of rain we had recently, it's flushing the creek out.
So that may have been put there a long time ago.
Yes.
So at this point, do you think that they may have to go in and dig up that soil and remove all that?
Possibly. At this, TCEQ is looking into that and see if they can locate anything on there that indicate that an individual or.
Okay. There's downstream, further downstream is Lake Houston, which is one of the primary drinking water sources for Houston.
Yes.
Is there anything for anybody to worry about here?
At this time, we don't believe there is. It's not disrupting the oxygen levels in the creek, and all the fish are still alive and swimming. And I don't think it's any. We don't believe it's anything toxic.
Okay. I suppose though, if they catch who's responsible, there'd be some penalties here.
Yes, there will.
Any idea what they are?
No, sir, I don't know.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to add?
No.
Oh, you. Yeah, go ahead,
How
Bob.
did you find it? How was it discovered?
It was a third-party call from the sheriff's department.
Somebody looked at the river and said something's wrong here?
Yeah, somebody looked at the river, dialed 911, and they got sent over to fire dispatch.
Okay, and tell us about the traffic and everything. Was it difficult, or what did you do? You had to shut down a thoroughfare there for a while.
Well, yes, we shut down 3083, but that's primarily for our safety, so that we'd have a place to work and we wasn't having to maneuver around vehicles.
All right. So what happens next?
TCEQ is investigating it right now. Texas Park and Wildlife Law Enforcement is also investigating it. And
Okay.
no.
That's why we saw them down there when we were on your way over here.
Yeah.
That's it, Les. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay.